There are people who have opinions and they like voicing them. Sometimes those opinions are things you agree with, sometimes they aren't, but the ability to express them, I think that's on net a positive.
Good morning, Internet and Arlington. I'm Jeff Carpenter here at Glass River Media at Venture X, and with me, as always, is Ronan. How are you doing today, Ronan?
I'm doing pretty good, so.
Pretty good?
Still doing pretty good.
Pretty good. I think
that's always the answer.
By the end of the week, we need to do better than pretty good. You need to be doing great.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
What can we do to make your life great?
I mean, after this, I'll be gone for the weekend, so.
Well, that's pretty great.
Well, I mean, I do love working here. Don't get me wrong, but.
Yes, well,
everyone loves a day off, you know.
We're sending Ronan away next week to Denver.
Yep,
actually,
Denver.
He's going on a big boy trip all by himself. I'm not going to be joining him, so
nope.
We're not going to be seeing Ronan for a week. I hope you enjoy lots of Jeff solo episodes. Not always the most popular ones, but we'll make do.
Yep.
Anyway, what is popular actually is having guests, and guess what, Ronan? We have one today.
You said guest what or guess
what?
what?
I said guest. We have a guest.
I was trying to make a pun.
We have a guest. This is Scott. Scott Brodbeck, right? From
Yes.
ARL now. .com, .facebook, .everywhere.
No, .com.
So our viewers are kind of used to hearing about Arlington. I talk about where we are all the time, and most of our guests have been from Arlington. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What is it you do here?
Well, I've lived in Arlington for quite a while at this point, since 2007, after I graduated college. And I started off as a TV news producer, working for NBC4, Fox 5. And then in around end of 2009, I quit my job. And beginning of 2010, I founded a website called arlnow.com, which covers Arlington. And, I started it because looking in my community, I couldn't find, many local news sources that really spoke to me and provided me information that was relevant to me as then a 20-something. I'm now about to turn 40. So this was a little while ago. But I saw the need and started the site kind of on a whim. It was like a shower thought gave me the name for the ARL now, which now I have to tell people how to pronounce every time I talk about it. But 13 years later, we're going strong. We have great readership in the community, great support from our local advertisers, and we have about 10 full-time employees based in an office in Ballston.
Very nice. Your TV time was local news, but local news for TV means the whole city. You've gone hyper local now. Is that? Do you have did you have inspiration for that or examples you're following, or I'm used to kind of newspapers. There's really local newspapers. I don't think I've seen sort of a web like what you're doing for an area the size of Arlington.
Yeah, well, there are actually a few hundred sites like ours across the country, but most people would not have heard of them because they only serve the areas that they cover. So I was a founding member of an organization that represents sites like that called Lion, Local Independent Online News Publishers. And they are so hyper-local that most people don't know them. And that's what we seek to do here. If the Washington Monument tips over tomorrow, our story might be view from Roslyn changes, So that's been a constant for the 13 years we've been doing this. We do now have two other sites covering Alexandria and Fairfax County, and we work with two others covering Prince William and Stafford, kind of down south. And then D.C., we work with Popville, which is a popular site covering the district. We basically help them host their site and sell their ads.
Okay. So you got 10 people. Are they all, they have specialties, or are they just kind of all seeing whatever they can find? How are these people divided up?
So we have 7 people on the news side. Excuse me. 7 people on the news side, 3 people on the business side. And then we have a handful of contractors and freelancers who we also work with. But most of our staffing goes towards the production of news content because without the readership, we don't really have a business. It's the readership that allows us to sell the advertising to local businesses because they want to reach those people and a critical mass of those people in a given area.
Yeah, makes sense. Your website, I've also seen you on Facebook, is viewer engagement a big part of what you do? Or I see people comment. Is it just kind of they comment, or is your staff involved and engaged with them?
One difference from important thing that happened in the transition from print to online is you gain the ability to have a two-way conversation, whereas you used to just send out a paper and, maybe you can mail in a letter for a letter to the editor. You can now comment in real time. Now, some sites will let you comment on the website itself. Others will say, oh, okay, just do it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. We do still allow comments on the site. We have a very active comment community. A lot of regulars as opposed to, just anybody mixing it up. There are a lot of people who comment repeatedly and have these, user handles that are kind of well known. Some of them are anonymous, some of them aren't. But yeah, there's a lot of user engagement. People like discussing the issues. Do I like every discussion that's taking place? No, but we try to moderate it so that it's we get some of the worst of the internet, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with.
Yep.
We get that out of the equation.
Yeah, I used to work part-time at Channel 12, which was the City of Fairfax government channel. So not media coverage, but it attracted the same crowd of regulars where every city council meeting, you recognize the same faces. Some people are very involved in their community, for better or for worse.
I mean, you could say the same thing about any local government meeting. There are regulars and, condo board meetings, the same. There are people who have opinions and they like voicing them. Sometimes those opinions are things you agree with. Sometimes they aren't. But the ability to express them, I think that's on net a positive.
Yeah. So you said you worked a couple TV stations around 2006, 2007. You were at Channel 4 local news?
That's right.
Is that the time period I have right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was gone by then, but I was there 2001 through 2003. So I went through the whole news thing. I was more on the tech side, I think, probably than you were. It sounds like you're more on the news part. I was
you were still rolling tape at that point. I think it was a little later in my News 4 career that we actually switched to digital. Finally.
Yeah, it was digital tape, but it was tape. And I did a couple of different things. I was PA. I did the traffic cameras and the calling the helicopter. I worked with one of the camera guys for a while, and it was very fun, and it informed, everything you see here kind of comes downstream of that. But
I did the traffic helicopter thing for Channel 5, so I bounced between, and that was fun to tell Skyfox where to go.
I got started for snow days. back then, you'd type the what schools are closed in the computer manually. That's probably a part of your site now, right? You tell people when schools closed.
Oh yeah, well, but we're only focused on Arlington, so we don't have to tell.
Yeah. Well, it's really easy.
At least on ARL.
Just one school system.
Yeah, a lot easier than doing everyone in the entire region.
Yeah. What kind of stories are popular? Like obviously you cover what happens, but when something's happening, do you have a sense of like, wow, everybody's going to love this one, or do they surprise you, or do some things become more popular than you imagined?
Yeah, I think everybody who's been doing this for a sufficient amount of time kind of gains a sense of what's going to work and what's going to not work, or at least not work as well. There are things that surprise me. Sometimes we put stories out there and I'm like, I had no idea this was going to be as well read. But in general, it's stuff that, is impactful or very of the moment, or, something people want to discuss. Those are broadly the kinds of stories that end up getting well read. So breaking news, development, certain county government stories, whether a restaurant is opening, that is something that's actionable to people's lives. Like, oh, I want to go to that restaurant. And anytime something changes in people's, physical world, so a new building's going up, a new store's coming, they have a reaction to that, whether it's excitement or trepidation. And so knowledge of stuff like that on a local level is one of the key things to do as a local news outlet is convey what's going on, what's changing.
Yeah. For someone who is watching this, who lives in Arlington and has never heard of you, give me the softball pitch. Why should they go to your site? What are they there to find? Why should
if they
come?
live in Arlington and have never heard of us? Well, first of all, welcome to Arlington. I'm glad you just moved here, and hope the move went smoothly. We've been doing this for 13 years, and we have pretty good saturation within Arlington at this point. So when we're seeing new subscribers come in, it's mostly people who have recently moved here, or people who are maybe a little further along in life and were more print consumers and are now exploring the wild world of the web. But the long story short is I think we present the most comprehensive and most up to date set of news stories for Arlington, as opposed to some outlets that are not as comprehensive or not as up to date. I think we have the most well-rounded approach, if I may say so myself.
Well, I'm going to start reading. I live in Springfield, but I work here, and
Well, you should be reading FFX now then.
yeah. Well, I got two things because I need to know both.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've only been here since January, and I've greatly enjoyed the community, and everyone here is amazing, and it's a great place to do business. I have found. So we like being here. We found out you guys existed the other day. We had someone come in here who mentioned it. It was like he's like, I have a friend of a friend of a friend knows someone there, and it's what made me reach out to you. I was like, yeah, people are talking about this site. So I'm very glad you could come in. Before you go, Ronan has a little story he wants to show us. We always end the show with some kind of interesting piece of trivia or knowledge. What do you have for us today, Ronan?
So today we have a little bit of news, but it's unfortunately not Arlington news.
Oh well, we'll make it.
But it is regional. Let's see.
What
There
do we
you
got?
go.
So here, we look over here.
Nope.
The world's largest rubber duck. All right. I see it's coming to Maryland.
Yep.
Two places
Yep,
in Maryland.
2 places in Maryland.
All right. What
August
is this?
4th to the 6th and August 11th to the 13th.
How large is this rubber duck?
So, as you can see here,
Oh, that's
there's a
pretty large.
picture. Well, my question is, it's the world's largest rubber duck, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's made out of rubber.
That does look like plastic. I don't know where the line is between rubber and plastic,
I'm not sure.
but
Yeah.
I guess we'll allow it. Okay. So, yeah, I think I recognize where that is, where the Leonardtown, it's like south, and
Yeah.
it might be like an hour drive away. I'm going to have to check this out. This might be worth the drive.
And from what I could tell is that they're doing like a weekend-long festival there as well. I'm not sure
Oh, well, that's
what
just a
all it's
bonus.
about, but yeah. You get to see a big old duck and a festival.
Okay. Well, I can see why they did not put Arlington on the stop for this. This looks like it needs an entire bay with ship support. I don't know. It has its own navy following it.
It does, yes.
Well, okay. Here, bring that screen back up with the locations in case any of our viewers are actually. All right. Leonardtown, Maryland, August 4th through 6th. That's next weekend, a week from tomorrow. Wharf Fest 2023. Okay, well, I don't know. I like it. I might make that drive. Anyway, thanks for being here, Scott. I encourage everyone who is watching to check out arlnews.com.
ARLnow.com.
ARL Now. Okay, arlnow.com. And thanks for coming in and tell us about it. And I look forward to reading.
Okay. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye.